What was it that River Song always told the Doctor? Spoilers. There's spoilers ahead, but we're going to talk about Infinity War and the ultimate sacrifice. So get ready. Oh, the drool that was on my face, the thoughts rushing through my mind, and the depression of the people that were disintegrated. Great movie, Marvel. Have you ever found yourself in the midst of a situation where you had to make an impossible decision? The only outcome that you could choose would make people's heads turn and say, dude, what the heck? In Infinity War, Doctor Strange uses the Time Stone to see all the outcomes of the situation on Titan and how the Avengers could win. His hope was to find the way to stop the mad Titan Thanos. He only had one out of some odd 14 million timelines. If you haven't seen this movie yet, first, what are you doing with your life? Secondly, once again, spoilers. Doctor Strange hands over the Time Stone in which he swore to protect. The only version of the battle in which they would win is if he did this. So as he blew away into dust, he said, "This is the only way." We were all ticked off at Doctor Strange, and we echoed Tony's question of, why did you have to go and do that? In scripture, we see a situation that is similar to this. Jesus, knowing what he has to do and why he was sent to us, has to give up the most precious thing to save us, his life. God being omnipotent and knowing all things, his plan for the redemption of humanity started at the beginning of eternity. He knew we would be sinners. He made a covenant with Abraham, gave Moses the law, and he knew we wouldn't be able to uphold that law. It was written of God that the fall of man would happen, but this was what God decreed, that he would take upon himself to redeem his creation. The Father knows there's only one solution to give mankind a true victory, but it's a tragic process and many don't understand it. Not even his disciples understood it. In Matthew 16, there was a number of interesting events that took place, not the least of which were the Pharisees demanding a sign from Jesus and Peter's confession of Jesus as the Messiah. Jesus, after Peter's confession, we are told Jesus lays out some interesting teaching. Matthew 16, 21 through 23. From that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and the chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and on the third day be raised. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "Far be it from you, Lord, this shall never happen to you." But he turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me, for you are not setting your mind on things of God, but on the things of men." So here we have Jesus lay out his plan to the disciples. Jesus' plan was to suffer persecution, be murdered, and then be resurrected 3 days later. This idea surprised Peter. How could the Christ whom he just professed end up dead in such a fashion? Many people are familiar with Jesus' infamous words to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan." Some of you may have said it to a loved one recently, dude, I'm kidding. But his following words are often overlooked. One translation reads, "You are a stumbling block to me, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man." Here we have Jesus rebuking Peter, explaining he has a plan in motion and Peter's interference would mess things up. Why though? Peter was seeing the situation through the filter of his own eyes instead of through the divine eyes. Jesus knew this plan because it was given to him by the Father, but this doesn't mean it was easy for him though. Luke 22, the end, 41 through 44. "And he withdrew from them about a stone's throw and knelt down and prayed, saying, Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. And there appeared to him an angel from heaven, strengthening him, and being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down to the ground." Here we see Jesus struggling with the situation at hand. See him asking the Father for an opportunity for man's salvation to take place any other way. But he's also showing humility and determination to let the will of the Father be his will too. Like Doctor Strange, there were a lot of heartaches that went into this solution. Seeing this overarching plan of 10 years come to a head in Infinity War, we can see the outcome and the redemption in Endgame coming up. Another cool thing is we see little glimpses of the sacrifice to come all through the MCU's previous films, just as the glimpses of Christ in the Old Testament and the prefigures of Christ.